Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the two-player game, Watergate. I played Watergate for the first time recently. I think it was a 2019 release, and the one play blew me away. I cannot wait to play this game again, and it inspired a recent video I did about tug-of-war games, games in which you are trying to manipulate something in one direction that your opponent or opponents are trying to manipulate in another direction. And in Watergate, it all comes down to this track. If you're Nixon, you sit on this side of the board. If you are the editor trying to find evidence against Nixon, you sit on this side of the board. And the basic idea is every round you are manipulating some things on this track so that at the end of the round, they end up on your side of the track. I'm going to talk about this track in detail here because there's some really, really cool things happening here. It's not just one token that you're shifting back and forth. Rather, it's a series of tokens. You have the white token, which is initiative. So initiative determines which player is going to go first in the next round. And that matters not just because you're going first, but because you get more cards than your opponent. Every round you draw a certain number of cards, either 5 cards if you have initiative or 4 if you don't have initiative. And the player with 5 cards goes first and last. Last is really the crucial component here because you get to end the round. You get to play the last card, which kind of manipulate the tokens in your favor so that you end the round with certain tokens on your side. So initiative is really cool. There's also momentum. Momentum is how Nixon wins. If Nixon gets 5 red momentum tokens on their side of the round, on their side of the track, at the end of each round, or if they get, one momentum token on their side of the track 5 times over the course of the game, they win the game. The editor can also use momentum to gain one-time ability. So momentum's still good for the editor too, but more powerful for Nixon. Nixon was really interested in getting the momentum tokens up on the side. And last, there are the evidence tokens. Every round you put out a few different face-down evidence tokens, and these evidence tokens can shift up and down. So you don't just have one of these like you have for initiative and momentum, but you have 3 of these that you're trying to manipulate. If the editor ends up with them, the editor gets to put them on the board. If Nixon ends up with these evidence tokens, he also gets to kind of block sections of the board, impeding the editor's progress. The one other cool thing here, so there's this lovely push and pull over the course of the game. I don't always love games with rounds, but I really love how in this game, you just have to get the tokens even just to the one space on your side at the end of the round. And so rounds really matter here. The timing and the tension builds every round as you get closer and closer to the end of the round. And you're like, am I going to be able to manipulate these tokens down here? What token is more important to me to get up here? How is my opponent what can they play to get the tokens down below? What is their priority? You're constantly thinking about this. Tons of great tension. And also, the one last really cool thing here is not just are you trying to get tokens on your side, but during the round, if you can ever get a token to the 5 space, you gain it immediately. So the game combines these 2 really cool elements, just trying to keep something on your side of the board versus the satisfaction and the certainty of actually manipulating something all the way up or down to the 5 and just getting it right away. That's really satisfying too. In my tug-of-war video, people mentioned a game called Blitzkrieg, which looks really cool in terms of this tug-of-war mechanism. But right now, I'm just blown away by how clever the Watergate tug-of-war mechanism is. It does everything that I want from a tug-of-war mechanism, and I really, really love it. And also, a quick honorable mention, I mentioned rounds. I love that in Watergate, you're getting a certain number of cards per round, and you play, and you get to the decision is kind of like in Hanami Koji, where you're looking at the things that you have that round and using them to the best of your ability. You know for sure that these are the 5 cards I'm going to have, or 4 cards I'm going to have. What is the best order in which to play them? What's the best way to play them? So yeah, that's Watergate. If you have a different favorite mechanism, or you want to talk more about the awesome tug-of-war mechanism in Watergate, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Or if this tug-of-war mechanism reminded you of another mechanism in another game, perhaps that you haven't already mentioned in my tug-of-war video, feel free to mention that in the comments below. Thanks.